Welcome, my witches. What's up? How you doing? Welcome. I'm so glad that you decided to come and hang out on this Wednesday evening where golden hour has just passed and the sun is sinking, but it's been a glorious blue and sunny day after several days of rain and wet and snow and slush and wet. So, whoopsie, let me mute that so you only have one of me coming at you. Hi, Sam. Hi, Roxanne. Hi, Joe. So good to see you. If you're just watching and not in the chat, but you would like to join, you need to be subscribed. It's subscribers only, and you have to wait a whole 60 seconds after you subscribe before you can post in the chat. But I really appreciate you being here, as I was saying, and also down below, I always forget to do this part. Down below are a couple ways that you can send me a donation, just to, hey, thanks, Luna, I appreciate these Wednesday nights, and, the other stuff too. And there's also an Amazon wish list if you want to buy me a deck, and I will read for you in my unboxing video. Prayer circles and things are still cooking around, like in the back of my brain, but I just haven't quite found the energy yet. And that's all I want to say about that. Okay. Happy Joe. Yep. Autocorrect. It's like, hi, Catherine. Hey, guess what? I'm using a deck that you sent me tonight. Yes, I am. Fat thumbs. Fat thumbs or a fat tongue because if you're speaking, blah, blah, blah. Okay, everybody. How you doing? How's everyone doing? I want to ramble a little bit tonight. I took a shower earlier, and when I am in the shower, I get such downloads anymore that I think I'm going to start like putting my phone on record before I get in the shower so I can just talk as it's coming through, because I actually got out at one point and came and wrote some shit down so that I wouldn't forget it. And then after the shower, I came and shot a video of me just like with my towel on my head and everything, just to get the information out. And I realize it might be information that has come through other astrologers and stuff, but this was the time it chose to congeal in my mind and come on through. So thinking about what's happening now. And the first thing I want to say is when people are tuning in to see, readings on how we're doing, what's going to happen, where are we at, all this stuff, I want you just to take a moment and feel, kind of be in your life as an observer, look around and notice that what's going to happen is happening. It is happening. So you're much better off with your attention on what's happening. And a lot of times we're like, I don't want to know if it's bad. I don't want to know. But if you're already in it and surviving it, then it's not as bad as it can get. So, all to say, just to keep your mind in the power position, which is in the present moment. And it doesn't have to be in the present moment of la la, everything's fine, everything's lovely in my world. It is in the present moment going, yes, I see these things going on in my life. I validate that for myself. And I'm here doing okay. And when you acknowledge where things are, then, maybe it gives you some more ideas about choices that you can make to help things, to shore things up against what may come, the things that you're worrying about. We've talked about this many times. But I want to talk about next week, where, let me look at the dates first of all, because we've got a boom, boom, boom events, and I will certainly shoot a video on these things, probably a separate one for each, but you never know. So on the 20th, the moon enters Aries at about 5:30 p.m. in the Eastern Time Zone. The very next day is the new moon in Aries at 1:23 p.m. So within that 24 hours. So we've got Equinox, new moon, boom, boom. Oh, star and new moon talk about new beginnings. New moon in Aries, spring equinox. And then 2 days after the new moon is when Pluto goes into Aquarius at 8:13 a.m. Ba boom, boom, boom. So one of the part of the download I was getting really big was about Pluto itself and Pluto's transit through Capricorn, because a lot of times it's, in hindsight that you go, that's what was happening. Well, I'll see if I can work my way through this in a way that makes sense. First of all, let's talk about the fact that Pluto, the difference between Pluto and Saturn. Saturn is still one of the personal planets. It's the planet of maturity. It's like the last of the personal planets, right? When we reach maturity and adulthood. Then start the transpersonal planets, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. What does transpersonal mean? It ain't me personally. It's everybody. Okay? It is everybody. And Pluto in particular, because, it is said that those transpersonal planets affect everyone in general rather than personally, because their cycles are so very long. So Pluto in a sign for 20 years, how is that going to be personally significant for just me? It is for the entire generation. Now, you do get personal significance in a natal chart from those transpersonal planets when they connect in a personal way with your chart, when they're involved with your sun, your moon, your ascendant, your midheaven, right? Or even with Mercury, when they're conjuncting an angle. Those make them personally significant and part of your personality. If they are not outstanding in that way, then it just kind of shows the time that you were born in and what the generations were going to, and where that was significant for you, wherever the houses are, the rulership and the position. So Pluto is the transformer, and it is talking about the transformation of big things. It's the slowest planet moving, so it's got the biggest scope. And in the sign ruled by Saturn, Saturn is personal responsibility. So what we have is this collective transformation of personal responsibility, and the things that were coming through were collective personal responsibility. We are grappling with our collective responsibility to ourselves, to the planet, to the human race. And we can't collectively really show responsibility until we get our individual responsibility together. Now, one of the thoughts that kind of triggered everything and made me get out of the shower is that over the pandemic, we were forced in a very Plutonian way. Pluto rules isolation, extremes. The topic of death. We were shoved into isolation with ourselves. We came into a very harsh confrontation with ourselves that many, many people were not used to. Some people ended up being completely alone. They couldn't be around family. They couldn't be around workers. And if you don't have a big pod outside of that, and even if you had a nice pod, it shrunk. And, people had to be together in relationship more intensively, making themselves hopefully look at themselves. So we had this really intense period of isolation that caused us in a very Plutonian way to kind of look inside, to look at ourselves. And if you are at all spiritually inclined, when you do that, you, with eyes open, you see where you are wounded, where you're traumatized, what needs to be healed, how you're an asshole. And you go, okay, I need to get busy on this stuff so I can be alone with myself, so I can live with myself, right? Hold on. But if you are not inclined towards spirituality, and let's differentiate religion and spirituality, if I can even say the words. Spirituality is personal. It's a personal connection with spirit. It's a personal understanding of the meaning of all things, of how we're connected, the personal defining of spirit for yourself. Religion is external. It's something that I tie myself to, to belong. Spirituality is deeply personal. So if you're not inclined that way, and if you are already under a system where you are looking externally for the divine, and you are looking externally for validation and for rules of behavior, and you're not used to looking into your own conscience, then you're going to hit a blank place, and you're going to deny. Now, this is interesting too, because Saturn, ruling Pluto through its transit in Capricorn, Saturn is about delay, denial and delay. Pluto is the inevitable. So what does this say? We can delay reckoning, and we have, but it is inevitable. It will inevitably come. And then we've got Pluto transiting into the sign ruled by the Awakener. Saturn is the Lord of Karma, ruling over Pluto. So we are really looking. We got a great review of all the shit that we've built up karma-wise, our karmic debt. And Pluto going into Aquarius, if we are already doing our work towards that awakening, it still might be very uncomfortable. But if we haven't, that's when people's systems are going to rock and roll. And I was thinking about, some people, I think, either by trauma or by maybe a wiring disorder that doesn't function quite right, are just one way or another incapable of looking within. And to me, that I thought, that's like spiritually disabled, unable to connect, to find spirit inside myself, unable to even grasp the concept that that's possible. No, it's there. I belong there. I'm tied there. They tell me what to do, what to think, So, and some disabilities are temporary. Some disabilities can be remedied, compensated for, navigated, and some cannot. Some are so profound that they cannot. So I think, in a way, there's a whole lot of our population we're looking at that is spiritually disabled through generations of training in the other way, So I think that's, that kind of occurred to me as, oh, here's exactly what we're dealing with. I mean, not like I don't know. It's just, another frame for that. So anyway, those are the ramblings that I have for today. The decks that I've picked for tonight are, I called it Green Season, and that's a throwback to when my kids were in Irish dance. And this is Green Season. It started kind of in February, where they would have dance outs where, their classes and levels and stuff would go to nursing homes and libraries and places and do these dance outs, do performances and presentations of Irish dance. So it was called Green Season. And I like that because I don't like St. Patrick. This thing about he drove all the snakes out of Ireland, that is a metaphor for saying he ended the Druids, because those were like the serpents of wisdom. They had serpents tattooed on their wrists. So I don't celebrate St. Patrick's Day, and also because I think it's a big insult to an entire culture to celebrate a day of their patron saint by getting blind drunk and wearing green shit. Last Saturday is what we call Fake Patrick's Day in Kent. The Saturday before St. Patrick's Day, where, all you see is just parades of kids in green, gross stuff, heading downtown to drink from early in the morning, and then you see them kind of stumbling back home in, early afternoon, late morning, because they've figured out drinking all day isn't as fun as what it sounds like. So anyhow, this is my way of honoring the Irish culture and everything it has brought to us without, worshiping booze and a probably fictitious saint that did away with the druids. Okay, I'm going to keep up. Um, Joe, I'm trying to sleep. The stories. Yeah, yeah, Joe. I know. I keep a notebook right next to the bed, but I'm serious. I think I am going to start putting my phone on record outside the shower. I'm only in for 15 minutes because there's just all kinds of shit that comes through, and I have lost so much of it by the time I get out of the shower. I this today was not the first time I've run out of the shower in order to write something down before I forget it. Hi, Tavia. Fashion is an example. Ooh, that's a great point. Fashion's an example of generational transits. Yes. Neptune, right, because Neptune is a glamour. Neptune is the costume that we wear, the mask we wear, you know? Excellent point. Pluto conjoined your first Saturn. Oh. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. A lot of I's to dot and T's to cross. Yeah, no kidding. And also, you know, when we have outer planet aspects, personal aspects in our chart, I believe that it is also an indicator of evolution, spiritual evolution. You know, when you're in kindergarten, they don't throw massive problems at you to solve, right? But when you have gotten into the upper grades, the tests get a lot harder. Just a theory. Okay. Well, let's do a bit of a cleansing. So as I sat down, I'm like, oh my God. I mean, I had these set up a couple hours ago. Oopsie. I forgot to pick up one of the beaded thingies that I left there. I set these up such a long time ago, and then I went downstairs and I told my husband, if I fall asleep for a little bit, don't let me sleep past 6:45. So I didn't fall asleep, and he's like, well, it's 6:45, just wanted to let you know. It's like, oh, it's okay, you know, I didn't fall asleep, so it's okay. Next thing I know, it's like, oh shit, it's 7 o'clock. So my mind was a wander. It really is amazing to me how I can sit down here. As I was getting dressed, I was thinking, ooh, I'm a little chilly. You know, maybe I should put on my big slippers or put on some socks or something, and I didn't do it. And I sit down and start talking, and suddenly, suddenly I'm very warm. All right. For you, for the space that we share, and for all of these decks, by air and fire may you be inspired and ignited. And by water and earth, may you be cleansed and nourished. And by spirit, may you be awakened. May you be connected. May you be blessed. Let's do a little meditation before I introduce the decks. And then we will do our guides and guardians, allies and ancestors. Sit back, sit up, feet flat on the floor or ankles uncrossed, whether you're sitting or lying down. Uncross your ankles, uncross your hands, just let them lie down by your sides so they're not crossing the midline. And make sure that your spine is in good alignment. So shoulders kind of up under your ears, and then not really your shoulders back, but feel your shoulder blades like sliding down your back and sort of hugging your spine. And then bring your chin in a little bit so that the spine up the back of your neck is just nice and straight, relaxed, and very mobile. And now drop your attention down into your body. Feel your skin. Feel it down on your legs and up higher. Feel the front of your body and the back. Feel your arms. And send your awareness down to the very extremity of your extremities. And then let's open up the root chakra and send a root down into the ground. And make it nice and open and hollow, because the first thing that's going to happen is, just like we pulled the plug in the bathtub, all of the dirty water is going to go down the drain. All of the jumbled thoughts, all of the worry that will get us nowhere in this hour, hour and a half, 2 hours time. All the tension that's in the muscles in your head and face, all the tension in your neck. Just see it kind of detaching from your cells and beginning to flow down. Flow down into that drain where it's going swirl, swirl, swirl. Any kind of pain you may have, any health issues you may have, if you detach all of the worry about those things and just let it go down. Check in with all your systems, your nervous system, your digestive system, your circulatory system, your respiratory system, and let anything that doesn't belong in those systems, anything that's clogging them, to just detach and go down the drain. And now let's become aware of our senses. If your eyes are closed, you can still become aware of your perception of light. As you're feeling your skin, become aware of the textures that are available to you. Become aware of what you're hearing right now. Become aware of the taste that's in your mouth. And become aware of any smells that are in your environment. And as you become aware of that, start taking nice, deep, easy breaths. As you breathe in, feel your belly expand, bringing the air all the way to the bottom of your lungs and then filling up to the top, and then exhaling through the nose nice and evenly. And as you continue to breathe, you can now let your body continue that breathing on its own, and you start to feel earth energy come rising up that cord. Equinox energy, regardless of what side of the globe you're on, this is balance. We are balanced with each other, north and south hemisphere. One hemisphere traveling into the dark, the other hemisphere traveling into the light, the balance shifting. And let that energy start flowing up that cord and into your body. Feel it rush down your legs to your toes. Feel it swirling up into your torso, swirling, swirling from your pelvis, up, 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 up. Stomach, mid-back, your belly's full, your chest fills up, your mid-back, your upper back, your neck, all of the muscles in your neck, and up into your face where all of those muscles soften even more, all tension releasing, and the energy coming in to energize that green and gold earth energy. Just watch it spin and sparkle. And now letting all your breath out, the next deep in-breath. Bring that earth energy up, make it very bright, contain it just in your body, and release only the breath. Again. Out through the nose. And again. Nice and bright, out through the mouth and out through the crown. Notice how strongly it shoots up and how far it wants to go before it starts arcing down around you, making this wonderful sphere or egg all the way around you, coming all the way down to the ground, touching it, sinking in, hugging your root. And then reaching up into the cosmos, bringing in star energy, cosmic energy, universal energy, energy of galaxies and nebulae and black holes and supernovas and stardust, all pouring in silver and blue and magnetically attracted to the earth energy. It's like you have all these little earths spinning inside of you, green and blue, silver and gold. It's like earth and water, sun and moon, spin, spin, spin. And as that energy comes all the way down to your root chakra, it flows down into the root a little ways, comes up in the outside, rising up through the sphere, the egg, and back up into the heavens. It's like you've got this dual lock. Letting your breath out again, taking a nice deep breath. And as you exhale, push out a ring. Push out a ring of energy, keeping one close to yourself personally, but pushing out a ring and feeling it, again, connect with the other rings of everyone else. And here we are, perfectly held between heaven and earth, perfectly connected with ourselves. In this way, we connect with our guides and guardians, allies and ancestors. We ask you to come and be present. I offer you fresh water. I offer you sound and music. And I offer you the fire of Azrael. May the sacred smoke travel to you in gratitude. Great gratitude for your presence here. All right. Govinda Dean, hello. This is my new patron, everybody. Yay, from England. You're up late. You're up late. Oh, my dear. I've actually been thinking about, because I was talking to somebody else today about it, maybe doing some early lives here and there so people across the pond and way down there can have a better experience or even just be able to attend it all. Hi, Laura. That's funny. She says she once absent-mindedly described St. Patrick's as having driven out the Christians from Ireland. Oh, no. He brought them in, more's the pity. All right. But, you know, the Irish are very strong, and what we ended up with was a type of Christianity that is entirely different from any other kind. Okay, now, the decks. So I also offered the decks this Fire of Azrael. So to make sure it comes over the decks. So first up, we have the Druid Animal Oracle. Oopsie. That is by Philip and Stephanie Carr-Gom, illustrated by Bill Worthington. And I do have one other deck that's by Bill Worthington. Now he calls himself Will Worthington, but that one didn't make the cut because I had too many, and that was the Wildwood Tarot. I used it just a couple of weeks ago. And we gave somebody else a chance. This is published by Connections Publishing. I believe that's what it says. Then we have the Celtic Book of the Dead, and this is by Caitlin Matthews, illustrated by Danuta Mayer. Caitlin Matthews, author of many wonderful decks, and as I found out today, many books, which I'm going to be checking out. The Celtic Tarot, which is a deck that I just don't ever reach for, and I don't know why. So, this is the first one leading the parade today. Then we have the giant deck in a tiny box. This is the other Will Worthington deck, Druidcraft Tarot deck. And oh, it is by Philip and Stephanie Cargam as well. So we have this deck and this deck that deserve to work together. And the Oracle cards are still bigger than the Tarot, and that's a big-ass Tarot deck. Then we have a very old one. Whoops, let me get this out of the way. We have the Celtic Tree Oracle in its, wooden box. And I'm going to see, because this deck is really old. I certainly had it early on, and its copyright is 1988. So yeah, it's back there. Then the deck that Catherine got for me is the Tarot of the She. I gotta put the deck away too, Luna. Shape of things to come, duck and cover. Uh-oh. Oh. Sorry, just had a little bit of wet over there from my coffee probably. So Tarot of the She, and this is by Emily Carding. This is the same one that does the Transparent Tarot. And the Transparent Oracle, which I have not been tempted to get, even though I love the Transparent Tarot. Okay. An owl staring up. Yes, yes indeed. That was purposeful. So I have, let's see. I don't know if I've shown you this one. This is my first Dragon Eye that I beaded. And come on, it's got... Let's pop into focus. There we go. And then this is the second one I've done. Did you have fuzz on you? Just finished this like a couple nights ago. It doesn't like to focus because everything's so shiny. Come on, find something to focus on here. Oh, my fairies are just ridiculous. There, the Eye of Sauron is staring at you. There we go. Okay. So yes, the eyes, this one was painted by me. This one was painted by my daughter. And it's time to paint some more. All right. Now, I think I've done everything that I'm supposed to do. Okay, let me catch up with messages. That's what I have to do. Oh, thank you, Govinda. Caitlin and John Matthews put out a lot of interesting books and decks. Yes, they have, but the publishers have not been the best sometimes. I know I have at least one of their decks that's cut wrong, and that, a couple that do not shuffle because of cardstock. So, the gripes are about the packaging and cardstock, so not about their work, and they are amazing. Okay, Samantha says, I don't know why the beginning of my thing says, I don't know why, because I didn't say it must have picked up from start at Caitlin and John Matthews. Oh, okay. Oh, the fairies. It's the fairies, man. They know that they're being honored tonight. So, and that the Tarot of the She is what beat out the Tarot of the Wildwood, because the She absolutely have to be here if we're talking about Ireland. The autocorrect imps. Yes, the fairies are having a party. Emily Carding's deck has a preface by John Matthews. Oh, really? Yes, you're right. I did notice that today. All right. So, and I welcome you who are watching and not joining in the chat. I invite you to join. All you have to do is subscribe, and a minute later you can join the chat. So you just have to be patient for 1 minute. All right. Astrology dice. What do you have to talk to us about tonight? Well, looky, Saturn in Taurus. In the 7th. All right. Saturn in Taurus. Oh my God. Talk about the ultimate in practical achievement in measurable achievement, in achievement for what's the word I want? Tangible purpose. You know, Saturn in Taurus, first of all, is slow. As slow as it gets. So it is about slow, measured achievement. Saturn is taking personal responsibility in a practical way, in a nurturing way, because Taurus certainly is about nurturing, you know, even if it's ourselves, nourishment, food, structure around our resources and, you know, our material resources, responsibility for our material resources. This can also talk about, since Taurus is a fixed sign, resources that are saved for the future. That sound familiar? I have been talking so often about taking care of yourself and your family and getting yourself shored up against the unexpected. Shored up. Okay. 7th house is in collaboration, in commitment to each other, in collective action, just action, right? In the arena of our committed relationships to each other, we need to be responsible in a practical, grounded, nurturing, nourishing, and long-lasting, far-reaching, future-oriented way. Responsible to each other. Okay, I think we're going to leave it at that. I already said many words about that. Okay, yes, the Fae are always partying. That's right. All right, well, you know what I should do? I am going to leave a little gifty here for the Fae. Hold on. In my little green cup, I have poured a libation for the fairies. And I offer it to you in all love and perfect trust. All right, who's up first this morning? We are a collective. Absolutely we are. We're in the same boat. Number 3. Okay, Celtic Tarot, and I gave it the first choice. Whichever deck comes into my head first, I give it the first choice about what position it wants to take. And for a hot second there, I was trying to do it like, you know, all the tarots and all the oracles, one's odd, one's even. And it's like, no, just ask the decks where they want to be. It's fine. These have all already been thoroughly shuffled and mixed, so I'm just going to go with the cut shuffle. Let me get myself comfortable first. All right. So, let's start us off here and talk to us about where we are right now, how we are with our responsibility. And I also wanted to say, you know, when I astrologically, you tend to see things like people are talking about Pluto in Capricorn, and we're just mixing Saturn, Pluto, and, you know, stuff like that. But it's important to remember what's acting on what. So Pluto is the energy, and it gets acted in the domain of Saturn. It gets affected by Saturn's energy. And then moving through Capricorn also, Pluto is transforming whatever planets you have in that sign, and whatever planets it aspects. Okay. All right. They're showing me 5 cards. And then they're showing me one more. Okay. All right, there we go. I was waiting for the shoe to drop. 1. Here's the 6 of Wands, victory. And I have to tell you, Tavia, After your reframe for me last week on court cards, I did a reading with 3 different decks the other night, and I can't remember which ones they were. One was this one. The It might have been the Druid Craft. Yes, the Druid Craft. And then the last one was the Medieval Scapini. Court cards everywhere. Court cards everywhere. Repeats everywhere. I was laughing my ass off. Okay. Yes, planets are verbs, signs are adverbs and adjectives. That's right. Alrighty. Look at, we have the sun. This is very reminiscent of a reading that I did with this deck. Then we have this, and we have this. All right. So the sun here is coming into play. Why? Because it is getting ready to shift, to move the strength of its energy from the southern hemisphere to the northern hemisphere. It is crossing the ecliptic. The ecliptic is, the path of the ecliptic is the equator stretched out into space. So the sun is crossing that line. Do I have that wrong, Tavia? Is the ecliptic the path of the sun? I think that is, at any rate. We have victory, coming from a place of victory. And here's the sun talking about awareness of success, awareness of our own empowerment, awareness of our own identity. It can talk about success. Success, damn you fairies. No, not damn you, I love you. So our personal expression, our absolute awareness of what's going on. So let's look at victory back here, the Six of Wands. Are we aware of what victories we have achieved? So especially if we're in times where things are shifting and we're in impact mode, crash positions, we need to remind ourselves of every victory we've had along the way. It's very easy to get riled up and focused on the negative. So we become aware and shine a light on the victories that we have achieved. The Princess of Swords is the water of air. So it talks about bringing sensitivities into your thought processes, that she has that balance of heart and mind, She's ready. She's got the armor on, certainly, and she is ready to take a stand. And sometimes she has sort of wrapped her emotions under that armor. She guards them. She can guard them with her intellect. She decides what to let in. So there's that heart and mind. Looking at, here are the things that kind of I'm scared of. I'm going to protect my heart against these particular things. I can observe things with my mind without going feelings first. All right. Sun, Four of Cups. Disappointment, withdrawal, that is about focusing on the negative and the losses that we fear more than anything. The Five of Cups shows those cups spilled, which is an actual loss. This is more of just ruminating on what can be lost. So maybe the what ifs are coming up here. But he needs to acknowledge that, he's got 4 cups. Usually there's a hand coming out with this cup. He's actually holding one. So he knows he's still got something, but he's just thinking about, he's focusing on the smaller rather than the larger. Then we have Queen of Pentacles here. I have a feeling I'm going to end up loving court cards. The reason I have such an issue is because they are slippery. Do they talk about a person? What kind of a person? Is it traits of me? Is it things I need to learn? Is it, they're just very slippery. But the Queen of Pentacles here is the water of earth. So think about watering the earth. I'm sorry, it's the earth of water. The water of earth. The water of earth, yes. So think about, what do we need to do to grow things? We water the earth. We need to soften the material, soften the ground under our feet so that it can receive the seed, it can receive the water, it can receive the warmth. Ultimately practical here. And yes, I am going to take, we have the Ten of Wands there, and we have the Three of Swords here. So with the Princess of Swords, we have the Ten of Wands. And why does she kind of wall herself off emotionally? Because she has taken all the responsibility, taken on too much, taken on more than her share. So that's the stress. That's the source of the stress. Where can you edit? Where are you being responsible where it's not your responsibility? So Saturn in the 7th house can also talk about shared responsibilities. But I think we can also look at what responsibilities have I taken on from relationships that maybe aren't mine, or I need to ask for help, or they're, shared a little too much. I'm taking on more than is my share. So I took the Three of Swords on the Queen of Wands here. So we see this kind of focus on the negative and this withdrawal and ruminating, being in your feelings about things and generating more feelings, that we ultimately end up generating something that's very uncomfortable. The Three of Swords talks about, a loss, heartache. And then we have the Prince of Pentacles up there. See, they are taking me to school. The courts are taking me to school, and I am very grateful. So Prince of Pentacles at the top talks about just starting again, getting to the earth of earth, ultimately practical, 4 feet on the ground here, one step at a time, going by the book, finding out things, learning the basics, learning the basics of what I need to know in order to bring enlightenment, look at my past victories, look at how I can trim things down. But we really need to acknowledge the focus here. And we have strength. Look at this, the Sun and strength. So this is a big reminder that regardless of the little things, even though they hurt, we are empowered, we have vision, our eyes are open, and we also have some self-control. We can calm ourselves down and control ourselves to the point that we can bring this calmness into whatever chaos or struggles we're dealing with. All right, let me take just another look here. Well, we do have one sword. Wands, Pentacles, Cups. We do have one cup. All right. All right. That's a good start. 'Tis a good start, I do believe. All right. Chat. I have a lot of court cards when I did the unboxing for the Star Tarot. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, was it the Star? No, that was the... not the Star. It was the one where it was like man, 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 and they were all facing forward. It was the Silver Witchcraft. Unreal. Okay. Yep, the planets are the verbs. The signs are the adjectives. The aspects are really like the adverbs. They modify the action of the verb, right? Four of Cups can also be open up. You have way more choices. And yes, absolutely. Absolutely. That's just, I give the messages that are coming into my mind at the time. So that's, as the meanings of these cards, as you know, my readers, many meanings to draw from. And I put out different decks have a different voice. This deck to me said what it said. At any rate, yes, you're right, Samantha. Balancing, is there an equal exchange of energy? Yes, 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 absolutely. Talking about the Ten of Wands there, right, Tavia? Of maybe you're taking on more than is your share. And she's talking about balancing an equal exchange of energy. 7th house is Libra's natural house. Balance, balance, balance. Absolutely. All right. Hugh, I think I figured out a way to remind myself of which decks have already come up so I don't have to go, what am I using? I don't know what I'm doing. All right. Me. Who's up next? 2. You notice we have a green tiny die tonight. The Celtic Book of the Dead. And this deck I have separated into its 2 parts. We have gifts here, and we have the islands here. And we also have the lady, what's she called? The ever-living lady, and Barinthus, who is the male energy here. All right. Yep. Okay. What do we need to know? Journey. This is about the journey. How we get somewhere. I have 3 cards, please. I would like 3. Then we will have a gift. Okay, there's 1. There's 2. There's 3. All right. The gift is the hazelnut. Now, this I'm going to be looking up because I sure have not used this deck enough to just know. All right, the hazelnut. The background is the Will of Segais in the Boyne Valley. The Well of Segais, if that's how you pronounce it, was the mystical source of knowledge. Poets sought to eat of the salmon that ate the nuts which fell from the 9 hazel trees there. Finn McCool successfully achieved this quest and became filled with wisdom. So eating the salmon that eats the nuts. And here we have the salmon eating the nuts. The meaning is wisdom, counsel, and inspiration. The challenge says, test the situation facing you now with your senses. Yeah, we were talking about that. How does it look at first glance? What feedback do you hear? How does it feel to you? Does it accord with your taste? What does your common sense say? Now, I think that's the first time that I've ever taken us through the senses in our little meditation, but they're certainly listening, so that makes me very happy. Alrighty, so our gift is wisdom, counsel, inspiration, but also, the reflection of that validation of what you're going through, that David Bowie thing. We're quite aware of what we're going through. Let yourself be aware of it. You're not like in this little bubble and all this bad stuff is out there waiting to happen. You are in it with all of us. We are all in it. So allow yourself to perceive that. With spirit, with shields, with spirit backing you up, all of that stuff. Now, we have Island of the Falcon. Oh, there you are. The keywords: welcome, return, conclusion, homecoming, resolution, objective, perception, taking your place, being at home with yourself, the assimilation of life's lessons, remittance of wrongs, making pacts, settling quarrels, time to manifest what has been in your mind, and homesickness. So I think, with Saturn here, having changed signs, still ruling Pluto for the next week, there is a big shift. We are in this big shift. So this talks about wrapping up the old stuff, resolution, conclusion, coming back home, settling quarrels, manifest what's been in your mind. All right, background. The Curragh is guided home to Ireland by a falcon. The Curragh. Oh, it's the boat. That's the boat. Curragh. I've heard coracle too from the Narnia books. Do you remember the coracle, little round boats? That's what that is. This last island is the one they passed when Maelduin's voyage began to go awry, where he first tried to avenge his father's death. Now he returns in forgiveness. This card shows resolution or ending. The challenge is what would enable you to be peaceful or at home with this matter. All right? So, here we are. We've been in this shit for how long here? And let's look at how we've been in it. Have we been pushing it away? Have we been just drowning it with food? But let's get to the place where we can become comfortable with the fact that we are in it and look at how we are in it and give ourselves some credit for that. Let's just give ourselves some credit for that. We have the Island of the Mill. The keywords are resentment. Now, this next word, niggardliness. It has nothing to do with a racial slur. Someone used it once in a speech, a politician years and years and years ago, and practically ended his career. So they've been very bold to use it. It means like penny pinching, every little detail, you know, being small-minded. Possessiveness, yes. Scandal mongering. Anger and covetousness, selfishness, codependency, grudges and feuds, indebtedness, and a sense of entitlement. Oh my. This sounds like the spiritually disabled to me. Spiritual disability. This is what happens with it. All right, let's see what we have here. Then we have the Sea of Mist. Disorientation, obscurity, difficulty in assessing things clearly. This sounds like, yeah, Sea of Mist, Neptune, duh. Mental confusion, a temporary loss of direction, trust in the unseen, news of far regions, or its effect upon you here, fear for others, escaping from danger. Now, I didn't read the story for the Island of the Mill. Let's read that. The crew are told by Inver the miller that his fearful mill grinds everything that people begrudge each other. This otherworldly mill is where the specters of our hatred and prejudice are fed to us. Responsibility, karma coming around in the form of food. Wow. All right. This card flags up what we most resent and how it binds us with unbreakable links so that we are enslaved to it. You know what that is? That's Pluto. That's Pluto in Capricorn. This can often result in an over-controlling mindset. The challenge is, what are you holding on to, which is necessary in your life? Let the gift of generosity come into your heart. Oh, which is unnecessary in your life. What are you holding on to that's not necessary? Let the gift of generosity come into your heart. Let other people live without your control. Lift burdens from others' backs. Okay. So the Falcon, and this is taking me back to that Ten of Wands. The resentment that you carry is yours. Resentment is also a flag that says we haven't said no where we need to say no. We haven't set a boundary where it is needed. And so we go ahead and do something that we don't want to do, and then we start resenting the other person when we're the ones that needed to say no. And the Sea of Mist is about that kind of Neptune going blind. All right, I'm going to pick some others here. Or do I want to pick gifts in between? Should I do a gift in between these cards? Or should I do other islands? What do you think? So this salmon is bringing us wisdom and knowledge. In order to become at home with and bring things to an ending, we need to clean out. We need to clean out where we have overstretched our generosity. We need to be generous to ourselves in that way. but we might have trouble seeing clearly. Okay, so let's see. Stuff going on around the world is coming more out into the light of day so they can be healed and released. Other islands, please. Okay, good. Thank you, Smith. Thank you for answering quickly. Here's the island of berries, and his berries are right there. His twig and berries. Well, sorry, the 9-year-old in me will not be suppressed. Respite, forgetfulness, healing sleep, welcome relief from illness or trauma, convalescence, the road to recovery. Rest after exertion, unconsciousness, satisfaction, keeping a low profile. This is a wide range. Transition, the need to return to reality, coming to your senses, overindulgence, addiction, drunkenness. All right, so in order to bring things to completion here, we kind of need to take a break, and we need to sleep, we need to rest, we need to heal ourselves. And that healing should help us remove ourselves from situations where we are overgiving, where we're overgiving. Generosity isn't about giving until it hurts. It isn't about giving more than you have to give. It isn't about giving until you resent it. Generosity is about an open-heartedness and an open-mindedness, open spirit, so that you can hear the call when you are called to give. And it's not just material resources, it's your talents, it's your advice. Generosity, sharing your wisdom. But we've got to take a rest in order to integrate and bring things to a conclusion. All right, whoops, wrong one. Then we have the Island of the Four Fences. All right, let me finish reading about this one. Background. Maelduin drinks of the berries and falls into a sleep for 24 hours. His men gather some more, but dilute the juice with water to lessen its effect. After the enchantment of the Isle of Women, Maelduin seeks a needful forgetfulness. This card can signal some form of unconsciousness, respite, or a return to normal after a stressful time. Challenge. What deep wound, memory, or grief needs healing now? What do you need to let go of? So yeah, the Princess of Cups was kind of talking about that too, or Swords, she was. Anyway, Island of Four Fences. Failure to recognize where you should be or which direction you should take. Fitting in. This talks about feeling at home, belonging. This talks about fitting in. I was talking on a recent video, I believe, about the difference between belonging and fitting in. Fitting in is something we do to lessen our own discomfort. And sometimes what we do to keep ourselves safe, depending on the context, right? Belonging is where you can utterly be yourself and you don't have to keep yourself shielded or masked, or costumed in order to not stand out, right? Okay. Where you should be, fitting in, exclusion, vocation, separation, status, your place in society, divisions and segregations, traditional values, inappropriate behavior. So the fences, obviously we're talking about boundaries here. So this, between this overexertion here, over-giving and resentment, and this illusionary stuff, we have these fences that say it's time to rein this in, rein in our kind of fantasy, our indulgence in illusion, upsetting illusion, yeah? And so we can bring it and put some fences around things and make it more clearly defined. This feels very Saturn to me. So yeah, it doesn't really hold together strongly as an oracle deck. Did I read the challenges for that one? I didn't. Four enclosures divide this island, showing the four states of humanity. The Gold of Kings represents material desires. The Silver of Queens is for artistic attainment. The Brass of Warriors is for strength of arms. And The crystal and crystal or maidens betoken spiritual attainment. But the food from the crystal enclosure is too strong. Betoken spiritual attainment, but the food from the crystal enclosure is too strong. Okay, this card reveals where we stand in society and the different roles we adopt in life. Always check the accompanying cards shown below to see what role is currently playing out. How does envy of other people's attainments or possessions factor in this matter? Discover your own specializations and needs. So like we were talking about looking back on attainment and victory and achievement, this is talking about the same thing, and most importantly, in our own terms, on our own terms, not comparing ourselves with others. If someone else's achievement is making you feel less than, remember that you're the one doing the comparing. And if you're coming up short, ask you why you're doing that to yourself, you know? So again, more lessons of just the things that we kind of need to do in order to wrap up this big Plutonian cycle we've been in and start the next one. All right. Now, and yes, I agree with you, Samantha. It is definitely a path-working deck. I think it can be a good oracle once it's more internalized. All right. Marcy, hi, honey. I know, I saw that too. And so, yes, let's take a moment here to send some good energy, some gratitude, some love, and some peaceful energy and peaceful wishes for an easy transition. I saw, I think it was yesterday, that she is very, very close to the end now. So, we are so grateful for her wisdom. 78 Degrees of Wisdom is one of the best books I've ever read on tarot. Yep. Yeah, and it was a few months ago that we heard that, you know, they announced her illness and that she was indeed very ill, but now it's like, no, she's actively transitioning now. We did 3, thank you. 5. All right. Celtic Tree Oracle. We'll see how this one goes. And yes, you know, all these Celtic things, like the Celtic Book of the Dead is very grounded in actual Celtic mythology and stories and history. So there is a foundation there that informs those cards. It's not just like tarot, just, you know, throw them out there. Like the Celtic Tarot, yes, it's recognizable as tarot. Celtic Book of the Dead is its own specific thing from a very valid cultural background. Same thing with Celtic Tree Oracle. This is the Tree Oracle and the alphabet, the Ogham alphabet. So we'll see how this one does. Maybe we get these out of the way and then we go to the easier reads, right? All righty. All right, let's do 3. And there we go. 1, 2, 3, and we have a 4th, so I guess we're keeping our little structure. Sorry, I have to accept some of this on behalf of the fairies. Yum, yum, yum. Alrighty. We have Ur, Eilim, and Muin. So Heather is the first one up. Heather is links to inner self and all heal. All right. There's a very long description that I'm not going to read. Well, a little bit. This Ogham card has a dual aspect representing not only the heather, but also the mistletoe. Okay. The outer meaning conveyed by heather is the symbolic gateway linking the fertile earth and the spirit world. And mistletoe is traditionally known as all heal and is invisible fertility on solid foundations, revealing the inner meaning. So, if you will find, and remember that the mistletoe is hosted on the live oak. If you examine a mistletoe berry, you will find 4 black semicircular marks around the central dot. These represent the mystic cities of the Sidhe, or the world of fairy. Phalias north, Phineas south, Gorias east, and Murias west. The central dot is the etheric fifth, thus encompassing the circles of existence. Mistletoe and heather combine in this card of the Om to guide you into closer contact with the world of spirit and the resulting healing your pathway can lead to. After all, mistletoe is not called all heal for no reason. Its derivatives are to be found in several modern medicines, and a preparation is used in some forms of alternative medicines today as a treatment for cancer. Well, to Rachel. If chosen reverse, no. So this is talking about deep healing. And remember that mistletoe is poisonous, please. Remember that. Good luck finding it if you're looking for like live berries. But I know you can find it around holiday times, but they are poisonous. Closer contact with spirit, joining of earth and spirit is what that's telling us there. And we've got the moon there too. Then we have Eilim silver fir. The silver fir is the tree of the 3 breeds, portrayed with 3 faces or aspects, those of Maiden Mother Crone. Okay, she's also smith, maker, healer, and seer. Choosing the silver fir card also confers the strengthening and healing learnt from your past and present lives, which should be a well from which to draw insight and knowledge for your future. The color silver links to your silver thread, symbolizing your awareness of progress on your spiritual journey. At times you'll be intuitively in tune with this, at others there will be tangles and confusion. This card heralds a clear-sighted progress. So healing and the past life. When you heal things in this life, you heal them in the past life as well. Because remember, when we are in the etheric realm, when we are doing magic, there is no timeline. All times exist simultaneously, all places exist simultaneously. So, and also when you heal your issues in this generation, and particularly those generational neuroses that get handed down through behaviors, traumas, you heal your ancestors as well. It is possible. It is retroactive. I had this stunning realization as I was doing work over things, and it was like, you feel the burden of the past lift, but it's your ancestors that are being healed as well, because you have stopped that pattern. You know, when someone, to information coming through, when someone traumatizes another person, and that person, there's karma generated. When that person in turn carries that behavior on because that's what they've been taught by you and harms someone else, that is also your karma. So when you stop the pattern and you do your best to make amends for whatever harm you may have caused, and to help, at least have the intention of bringing healing on that level, it in fact does work that way. That's the big message there. Then we have Vine. Okay, prophecy and the 10th month of August. All right. The drawing of this card is concerned with the release of prophetic powers. The uses of the grape and effects of wine are well known. The phrase in vino veritas also almost expresses the meaning of this card. That means in wine, truth, right? Loosens your tongue, your inhibitions drop. Not so much run by your mind. The watery part takes over. Wine dissolves the inhibitions and often allows you to speak more perceptively and truthfully than you otherwise would. In a similar way, you need at times to let go of your logical and intellectual attitudes and gather other resources in order that subtle intuition can surface and lead. During such periods, your psychic sense will be a more reliable ally than common sense. You must permit instinct alone to show you what should be done and allow your deepest emotions to show freely and openly. That sea of mists over here is the same thing. So it wasn't always talking about illusion. It's saying that this is time as we are, going through these healing things and kind of resting for the next stage, that we look to healing our present, to healing our past as well, and to engaging then when we do this healing, we can drop those that armor, those boundaries that have just kept us safe, hanging on for dear life, those solid walls that we build around us, not so much boundaries, but walls. And once we can let those down, then we can really give full sway to our psychic gifts. And that is what guides us. So, from the beginning here, these readings are telling us that we need to look back on our past successes. We need to resolve what needs to be resolving so we can wrap up this final phase of Pluto in Capricorn in the best way and in the best, most far-reaching way internally, extensively, with all heal across the board, and reaching into past, from present into past, knowing that you're healing the line down the future as well. All right. How far did I read here? Show you what you should... Okay. Allowing your senses to open in such a way is a sign for inner development as you learn to place your trust in them when they are acting for you strongly. Let your soul open so that it is able to harvest and gather together all the signs and omens that it is so capable of comprehending if you will only permit it to do so. So here's the challenge before Pluto goes into Aquarius. How much do you trust those heightened senses? The higher octave of Mercury, Uranus, that can catch things, on a wind and get messages from just flashes of brilliance in your mind. How much do you trust this? Then we have Read at the top. Getal. I'm not sure how that's pronounced. Choosing this card indicates that you are aware of the great outside that surrounds us all. You're capable of finding order where others find only chaos. Patterns, big patterns, astrological patterns, karmic patterns, cyclic patterns, vegetation patterns, seasonal patterns, subtle patterns, little ones, big ones. You're capable of perceiving these. This is what the awakened mind does. Your results are as sure as the intentions with which you started. You progress by continually keeping your aim in sight. Choosing the reed gives you the capacity to make spiritual weapons, just as the bowman has first to make and find his bow, then he has to make the arrows and tip them with a point. So you have the capacity to make spiritual weapons. The flights or feathers at the base of the arrow give direction and prevent the arrow twisting and changing direction in flight. In the same way, with the reed, you are able to find direction and to give meaning and purpose to your journey that started at the beginning of the year in November, according to the old calendar. Once the journey has been entered upon, then surprise encounters and upsets are only to be expected. That's Uranus, oh my God. The skills to overcome these short-lived troubles are as important and essential as making the journey in the first place. So this is talking about, and reeds, think about reeds bending, but we're talking about making, and they didn't really define spiritual weapons. What are spiritual weapons? What are the things that we train to do? We train to become aware and awake and know the tricks that the mind plays and be aware of those. We learn healing techniques. We learn magic. These are all spiritual tools. Let's call them tools instead of weapons, shall we? I like that better. But I like the idea of the arrow, you know, you've got to start with it, you've got to make the bow, you have to make the thing that launches the arrow, and then you have to make the thing that's being launched, and make sure it's straight, and make sure that it's fletched so it will fly straight and true. So wow, I mean, this one again has us digging deep, but it really is all about healing the past stuff, making yourself available in the present, healed and fresh, so you can unburden yourself of the walls and the armor, and you can really trust in your psychic sense. And then we can look at what we're keeping our eyes on, the target, what we are aiming for, what the next achievement is going to look like for us. But the reminder here that sudden unexpected things are what comes next. Okay, let's see here. Oh my goodness. All right. The mistletoe you get at the store doesn't have the real berries. Oh, that's good to know. Yes, that's true. You get the leaves but not the berries. I do remember that. I haven't gotten any of that stuff, you know, other than plastic for a long time. Okay, sets out. But if you should happen, you know, I know people down in the south where the live oaks are, they go and look for the moss and stuff, and they can find and harvest the mistletoe. Don't bring it into your house if you have pets or children or anybody. Okay. Cyber chocolate and coconut macaroons. Oh, damn. Another well reference. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Turning swords into plowshares. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What is the water bearer mythology? Where or to what is it taking the water? That's a good question, Tavia. Did that come out of the book in the last one I was looking at? Or where did that come from, Tavia? Let's see here. If it's something that came out of my mouth. Okay, that's the vine. And what was the last one? Read. Direct action, and then the 12th month, which is October. All right. Seeking knowledge, go within, both well references in order to gain clarity, take action. Yep. All right, so let's see. Thin and slender is the reed. He stands in the clumps at the edge of the river, and between his feet hides the swift pike, awaiting an unsuspecting minnow to come his way. In his thinness, the reed resembles arrows that fly silver-tipped up into the unknown air to land at the very source that one had searched for all these years. Firing arrows off into the unknown is an expression of the desire to search out basic truths. If you loose off without direction, the place of landing will be random. If the firing off is carried out with the correct conviction, determination, and sense of purpose, then the act becomes secondary to the event that comes both before and after the moment. Fascinating. All right. Now I think I'm going to go into a little more familiar territory. Maybe. All right. Talking about food or going into... Okay. I don't know. I would like to know. In some cosmologies, the water bearer is actually the vessel for spirit in order to open it up to receive, to then share. Aha. It's interesting because the image of temperance, which is the water bearer, right, has it the angel pouring water from one vessel into another. But just that image of a being pouring out water is very similar to Kuan Yin and Kanon, of pouring out the water of compassion. And, from an intellectual purpose, because it's an air sign. I'm going to have to... Food. Oh, Pluto. Pluto going into Aquarius. Okay. Yeah, well, we've got a little bit of research to do. We have had 3. We have 1, 4, and 6. 5. No. 1, 4, 6. No. 1, 4, 6. 1. Okay. So this is the Druid Animal Oracle, and The reason I just don't ever reach for this deck is because the book, first of all, cards have no numbers. The book lists them in an internal structure that has something to do with the kind of the ranks of the creatures. And the table of contents just lists them in order that they show up in the book. It doesn't list them in alphabetical order. So when you pull a card, you just have to page through every single one till you find it. So what I did today, and then the deck gives you 2 blank cards so you can fill in your own things. I left one in here for spirit, and then I took the other one and I made a little list of the cards and their pages, and I alphabetized it as a handy reference card so I can use this damn deck because it's a beautiful deck. All right. Hi, Sharon. Welcome, dear. I do not do personal readings here. These are readings for the collective. So listen to the messages. Which ones resonate? Claim them. That's the way we do things around here. All right. So let's do the Animal Oracle. And we don't have Druidcraft yet. I may grab that one next and then let the she bring up the end, because these 2 decks are same authors, same, right? Am I right? Yes. Yes. These are same authors, same artists. So let's see how they work together. I'm seeing 3 of these, and then I'm seeing tarot underneath. Gotta relax my body. Oh, here we go. All right. Take the one that's out on the bottom first, and then we take this, and then we take this, and I'll bridge them with tarot, I do believe. All righty. So I'm going to set this one like right there for a second. Goose. Looky, I can just find it on the list and go right to the page. What a concept. I am going to do a video about like what turns me off of decks externally and internally. Anyway, we have Goose here. Keywords are vigilance, parenthood, and productive power. Parenthood, look at Saturn, talks about parental authority. It rules the father, even though it's a feminine sign. And productive power, boy, Saturn and Taurus for sure. Drawn upright, this card may indicate that you are ready to take on the responsibilities of raising a family or of committing yourself to a long-term partnership. Saturn and Libra, long-term partnership. Brings creative and productive power, allows you to open to this power. The goose, with its strong attachment to family and the ability to fly extraordinarily high from one continent to another, shows us it's possible to be both grounded and spiritual in our daily lives. Okay. Then we have Wren, the king of the birds. Ait. Humility, cunning, God. I love it that there's a card that rules humility and God at the same time. All right, or indicates. Druyan is what Wren is called. Allows us to glimpse the beauty of God or goddess in all things. He tells us that small is beautiful, and that self-realization lies not in grandiosity or apparent power, but in humility, gentleness, and subtlety. Cunning, if tempered with humor and good intent, is a way of achieving great things with an economy and effort, and a rational and honest use of the achievements of others. A rational and honest use of the achievements of others. All right. So we can see I get it now. They're talking about cunning. Cunning can often mean something kind of like manipulation, that I know something you might not know, and I'm sort of playing things to go my way. But it's talking about here cunning just being the ability to really see what's happening and using our honesty and rationality to help things go the way they're going, not like in a subversive way, but in an open way. So we can be grounded and connected to spirit at the same time. We can be aware of the beauty of God and Goddess, and that helps bring us to humility. And it also gives us the power to move things the way we want them to go. But we're called to do it in an honest and open way. And then we have cat. Cat. The pronunciation is cat. That is also the Celtic word. Guardianship, detachment, and sensuality. Cat brings us the ability to observe situations quietly, without judgment, before making decisions. Apparently asleep but really listening, a cat can sit for hours before it acts with decisiveness. Remember the saying, a cat may look at a king. You have a right to know and to judge important issues for yourself in your own time. So yes, a cat may look at a king. You can assess these things for yourself. The cat unites an awareness of the spirit world with a highly developed sensuality. So we have a different kind of idea of the balance between earth and spirit, grounded in spirituality. These two attributes are not polar opposites, but are facets of one continuum of awareness and sensitivity. Working towards wholeness involves enhancing our appreciation of both the physical and non-physical worlds. So yeah, the whole message from those three is about, again, this coming together, this culmination, this resolution that the Island of Falcons was telling us about. So we have that message reiterated. And the last one we have here is Earth Dragon. Ooh, Earth, 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 Earth. I know these come at the end, so that one's easy to find. Okay, the Earth Dragon. Power, potential, riches. Drag Talav. Drag Talav. Brings us face to face with our potential. Within us we have a treasure house of riches, of powers and capacities which we can learn how to use. In the past we may have been denied access by the guardian of this treasure. But now we're coming to understand that this sometimes fierce guardian is in reality an aspect of ourselves. By coming to know and love Earth Dragon, we will be able to unlock the secrets of our heart, and at the same time we will find ourselves discovering the beauty and power that lie within the hearts of those around us and in the very earth itself. Power in the earth and those around us. Yes. Okay. I am going to make room for these cards so they're easier to see. But we will remember. So Earth Dragon just gives us a boost of practical power in order to bridge this earth and spirit, to be that we are the bridge. We are the bridge between earth and spirit, between the material and the spiritual world, right? Between form and formlessness. We are the bridge. We have a mind that can go beyond form and can expand well beyond our physical confines. We can bring spirit into this vessel, but we also need to be firmly in this vessel. That message has come across very clearly tonight, but that Earth Dragon gives us that power of the practical, power of the body, if we can really personally bridge, between earth and spirit. All right. One of the biggest decks. On the heels of that, Carr, Gomes, and Worthington. Ooh, that one wanted to bend in half. The Nine of Wands. All right, those wanted to slip. I'm going to pull here, and I'm going to pull off the bottom, because those wanted to come off the bottom. Don't ask me. I do what they tell me. The Nine of Wands talks about being wounded in battle. It talks about setting up boundaries of protection, coming out of a very intense battle, receiving wounds. You see him here, the wounded warrior, and he has set up these spears. He is still holding the line, but that protection now is very much more necessary in order for him to heal. We have the Four of Wands. We have the Six of Swords. Wasn't that the first card that came out tonight? And we have the Five of Cups. We'll take a fifth in the middle here, but let's see what we have. And I'm going here, so north, physical, Nine of Wands. We need to take care of our precious bodies, recognize that they've been through a lot recently, and we need to put up some protection around them. And again, reiterating the need to heal, to know that we've been through this time, to heal that before we launch into the next part. The East is Five of Cups here. So talking about the realm of the mind and air, and we have that card of loss. But look at what he's looking to. He's looking at these salmon that are leaping in the water. They have wisdom to give. So it's like he's suffered a loss and he's looking for the wisdom in it. So this is our intellectual exercise, is really just looking at the story and dealing with the emotions, but then trying to look at it in a less emotional way, so we can get the wisdom from us. It's like the step after processing the loss itself. In the South, we have the Six of Swords. Then we can start moving through these waters to the new. We can start on the journey. We can embark on the journey to the next phase. Then we have the Four of Wands in the West here. And Six of Swords in the South says that this has to be an act of will. This is an act of will to get ourselves through what we need to get through. And then the Four of Wands in the West here says that we join together after all that we've been through. We join together and we celebrate. In spite of, while things are shitty and highly stressful, whatever it is you're processing, remember to celebrate. Remember to spend time with someone else and just take a break. Give yourself some laughs. Yeah? And I want one more here. King of Pentacles. So, the air of earth. Being very conscious of the choices you're making with your resources. Having that awareness that I am in charge of my resources, they're not in charge of me, right? I always used to talk about the King of Pentacles being the guy who's, money is his bitch, not the other way around. So, not very deep information there. It's this, like we usually do. It's a lot of same old, same old. So we look from the past and we can look at this tracking through time. We look at the past where we've been so guarded about things. And then we went into a place of, okay, yeah, the worst happened. This is on guard of, what's coming? Yes, some of the worst happened. We had some grieving to do and some learning to do. Now we are consciously going, I want to head for someplace else. This echoes, the Six of Swords and the Six of Wands. Six of Wands is the victory card. Six of Swords is not necessarily victory, but getting through it, getting through. So navigating to the other side, and it is definitely an act of will in the realm of fire. And then the Wands reminding us that there are things to be celebrated. The change of seasons is something to be celebrated. The All Snakes Day, St. Patrick's Day, I think that's what I'm going to call it from now on, All Snakes Day, is to be celebrated. Celebrate that. Celebrate the equinox. Celebrate the new moon. Celebrate Pluto going into Aquarius, That can help us get good energy into our bodies and into our mental systems and nervous system and everything if we celebrate. It starts things off on the most positive foot. And then ultimately we just have to we have to take our time. That's Saturn in Taurus. Take our time, be conscious of the choices we're making, and get your shit together against unexpected events. All right, let's see here. The cunning woman. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, wait, I'm catching up here. Oh, you're very welcome, Sharon. What's sauce for the goose is sauce for the gander, vice versa. Cunning can also mean when to hold your tongue. Okay. And the cunning woman also wondered why it was they chased or hunt wrens on since Stephen's Day. Yeah, it's convoluted. I looked it up in the Golden Bough. Still doesn't make any sense. Call the Ten of Wands card the know when to hold them and know when to fold them. Nine of Wands. Oh! I just thought it really loud. Know when to hold them and know when to fold them. I like that. For me, when the message flows from one deck to the next, just kind of builds layers. Yes, it does. It does. Hi, Violet Lotus. Welcome, my dear. Yay, you are most welcome. I'm so glad to see you here. Violet Lotus, what a beautiful name. All righty. Now, we got one more. We got the she. We got the she to go she. I haven't looked at this deck in a while. And I also, it might look like it's a little messy or dusty, but I gave this deck a treatment with fanning powder because these are the kind, they're actually shuffleable, like, you know, they bend enough to be able to shuffle them, but they have that plastic coating on them. They just stick to each other like mad, so they're hard to cut shuffle. So I gave them some fanning powder. They're still a little dusty, but the more I shuffle them, the more it'll get spread around. And, you know, you'd shuffle them, and then it was hard to push them back together again because they just stick. So, I need to hold them the other way. All right. Banshee. Okay, what's where the term banshee came from? What is Samantha, darling? Okay, there's one. Well, let's start one at a time then. We have the Warrior, Fire. Now, I have to just remind myself of how this deck is structured. And this deck was given to me by Catherine Morgan. Thank you. Silver Spiral Tarot. This was such a wonderful gift. All right. The minor. All right. The suits are dreamers, warriors, dancers, and makers. So the dreamers, I believe, are wands, the warriors are swords, the dancers are cups, and the makers are pentacles. So, the warrior. Is he? No, he's not. He's just fire. So, I don't need to look these up. Here's warrior energy. What is called for here, what is expected of us, what is going to be needed from us, is for us to remember the warriors that we are. I'm thinking about the sun that came up a couple times here. And let's define warrior. What does it mean to be a warrior? Does it mean to be violent? Or does it mean to be ready and to be able to act, to be unwilling to be passive in the face of change or things that need to change? The warrior is the one that says, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll take it. I'll go take care of it. You know? So spiritual warriors they're the ones that just, they never say die until they die, right? A warrior is one who is willing to lay it all out there. The samurai call it a deathly resolve. When they would go into battle, they did not go into battle thinking, I hope I make it through. They went into battle like some of the First Nations, saying, it's a good day to die. I am out here to die. I'm going to die well, and I'm taking you with me to the enemy, you know? So this is the call to bring forth that warrior in us, but then we have to keep it balanced. We're not talking about reactivity and raw violence, but warrior energy can be that as well. So we have the 10, the warrior 10, so 10 of, and see, this is fire, so I think this is, yeah, it's wands. The Great Task is what that one was called. And then we have Dancer King, gift of wisdom. So the kings bring gifts. So this warrior energy, this fire energy, perfect. You know, on Monday, the sun goes from watery, misty, murky, fuzzy, foggy Pisces into Aries. Ta-da! That's the equinox. That's the sun going into Aries. That is warrior energy in spades. And then where do we point it? At the Great Task. And look at what we have here. We have day, night. We have a white moon and a dark moon. We have this, oh, remember what I was just talking about? That we are the bridge between earth and spirit? Check it, you guys. This being is literally forming a bridge between the night and the day, the hidden and the seen, the spiritual and the manifest. Look at what he is protecting them from, like the fires of hell. And he's using his very body. I love this flowing here. He's using his very body to be the bridge between these two things so that these people can join together. There's that Libra energy. So what are you willing to do? The great task for the warrior is to put themselves into service for the greater good, for those that cannot fight for themselves, for those that cannot even see what needs to be fought, right? I'm going to shuffle again. Okay. Ooh, here we go. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Oops. Ooh, hangman upside down. All right. I'm going to set these boys aside and see what we got here. So we have Hanged Man reverse. We have Pan. And then we have the Empress. Woohoo! Okay, Hanged Man reverse says time for action. After all the, the previous decks and the work that we do, looking at our past successes, looking at where we're at now, perceiving, trusting what we perceive, assessing it accurately for ourselves, trusting that we can, then we go, okay, now it's time to take up the spiritual weapon that I have prepared and take action. The Hanged Man is hanging out, submitting to things that he has no control over. I love this. This is like a Reiki symbol here. But he's reversed. We're done with hanging out. We are done with just submitting to what's beyond our control. We are taking up the weapons of the warrior, and we are looking at, where am I called to serve? What is it that needs defending? Who is it that needs saving? And we decide to stop hanging around and say that's beyond my control, and we start looking at what is actually in my control. Then we have Pan here. Look at this sexual energy. So we get a Woody for it. Okay, I'm going to read this. Pleasure, indulgence, lust, longing, addiction, material goods, attachment, abandon, wildness, ecstasy, and nature. Okay. So Pan energy can also be manipulation. It's very Plutonian, manipulative. It also is energy that can be channeled. So rather than becoming prey to our more physical desires and instincts and letting them run us, because the devil card, which is what Pan is here, I always say it's about things that have more control of us than we have of them. So we're looking at these things that fire our passions. That's another side of fire, right? Fire is starting to take action from just hanging around. It's also that passion for something, that desire, that woody, I got it. I just have to do it. I'm fired up. And it's about using that energy and raising that energy from the physical into the spiritual. Remember, you're the bridge. You're the bridge, but you can tap into that potent, creative, sexual energy. And if you can tap into that energy, the Kundalini, curled at the base of your spine, and raise it up through the chakras and point it at a target that's up here rather than at crotch level, then that's true magic. I've never gotten that out of the devil before, out of Pan, but it is Pan, and Pan is all about desire and giving into desire. But here we've got Dancer King here with the gift of wisdom. So this is the king that is in touch with his emotions and is not going to succumb to that desire and let it sweep him away. You bring the gift of wisdom here so I can look at how do I channel this energy, and also where do I get lost in this energy? Where do I lose control? Where does this energy come in and take over for me, or take over me? Then we have the Empress at the end. What is the ultimate goal here? The ultimate goal is nurturing, mothering, nurturing, providing. Taurus is a feminine sign. It's ruled by a goddess, Venus. And that is absolutely the Empress, Venus, and Taurus. So the point of all this, the warrior energy, all of this internal ruminating and looking at healing our past and, clearing ourselves for the future and all this kind of stuff, what's it all about? It's all about, on a large scale, Mother Earth nourishing us, and how we treat that nourishment, how we receive it, how we take responsibility with it, how we share it in generosity. That has come up tonight. How we nurture both ourselves and what's around us. It's been very earthy tonight and very kind of internal. And to me, it feels like it's been really tight message, tight message tonight. It's all about preparation. But I think, as we go through this week, celebrate. We've got boom, 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 big things coming. Instead of looking at them with dread, celebrate these changes. Celebrate the fact that everything changes, and change is the only constant. But then look at what is in your spiritual arsenal, what is in your spiritual toolkit that you can bring to the greater community with the spirit of a warrior, with the drive, the passion of a warrior, directing that passion to great purpose for the greater good, busting yourself out of the doldrums, out of this sense of no control. Because Hanged Man reversed can also be just succumbing to that. I don't have any, I'm just nothing, it's in my control. Nothing's in my control. Nothing I can do about it. Out of my control. We need to turn that around as well and take action. All right. I think I got what it was laying down. I think I picked up what it was laying down. Let's take a look here. Oh, Nico girl, I missed you. Hello. Irashaimase, Neko girl. Where are you? I didn't see your comment, dear. Oh my goodness. At any rate, welcome, Neko girl. All right. I'm trying to get back to the beginning of the messages. You guys been busy. All right. Banshee. Here we go. Yes, Violet, where are you from? Texas? I don't judge you, darling. I wish better for you, but I don't judge you. She and Ban is, yes, it's the good fairy. The Banshee is the good fairy. Time to call the spirit of Grano Mali. Buenos Aires, Argentina. True warriors are not destroyers. That's right. They're those who see perceived obstacles instead realize them to be stepping stones. And they are ones who remove those obstacles, you know? They are the ones that are willing to stand up when things are going the wrong direction. They're not destroyers, preservers. And maybe, yes, sometimes destroyers. When things need to be destroyed, the warrior is willing to go and say, yeah, I'll do without that. I'll take it down. You know, I'll endure hardship to get us where we're going. Absolutely. Tavia, we're in Ohio, no room to judge. No shit. The warrior card in the same way the spiritual weapons card. Yes, Tavia, me too. Absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. Aries season. All right, let me see. Your birthday's coming up. My husband's birthday is coming up. He's an April Fool. He's April 1st, and I'm August 1st. So our suns trine each other, Aries and Leo. It's a good thing. You always do astrology before you commit to somebody. Okay, and happy birthday, Violet, on the 25th, so not even a week from now, huh? Nickel girl, Nickel girl. I still don't see Nickel girl's first message. I don't see it. I don't know why. All right. Chokure. Oh yes, I forgot that's what it was called. But yeah, this, doesn't it though? You know? Ah, there's Nickel girl. Meow. I see everybody meowing. My Nike Nickel. Reiki and Aikido have both come up several times today. Oh, interesting. Tai Chi. Yes, I would love to do Tai Chi. Tai Chi with a cane. Chair Tai Chi. And Granny Two Canes. I love it. That's excellent. Oh my goodness. Mr. Two Chains. Stick around, you're here all night. And I'm missing Darcy again. Dang it. Ah, very earthy. Uh-huh. All right. So, you're so very welcome, everybody. So, just to prep, spend All Snakes Day celebrating your wisdom and accepting libations in the name of the fairies, as I will start to do right now. And have a good celebration. Honor the She. Make sure you leave them offerings of any food and drink that you have. Put it outside. Leave it for them. And then prep yourself for that triple. Aries ingress. New moon. Pluto ingress. Lots of coming. Lots of coming. All right, you guys, thank you so much for hanging. Oh, look, we are right at 2 hours. I didn't even, I think I looked at the clock once this whole time. You are so very welcome. Thank you for all of you for being here. Blessings to you. Blessed All Snakes Day. Blessed Solstice. I will talk to you next the day before Pluto changes. So after the equinox, after the new moon, right before Pluto shifts is when I'll be seeing you again. All right, you guys, I really, I love you so much. I am so appreciative of you. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next time. Mwah. Blessed be.